Okay. Oh, and one more. Okay. So, welcome everybody. Happy full moon. I'm Reverend Anna Jones. For those of you who are not familiar with my work, thank you, and thank you for joining this evening. We have just a special experience ahead for us with a full moon that has actually the exact time of was just 4 minutes ago, according to my moon calendar that I have here in Pacific time. So, at least on the Pacific time moon calendar, where I'm located at, the exact time of the full moon was just 4 minutes ago. So that's exciting that we're doing this, starting this new series of Archangel Michael global transmissions. These angelic transmissions, I've done many of them over mostly equinoxes and solstices for, I'd say, at least 2009, 2010. I've been doing them as often as I can and always when I'm being asked to do so. So the last most recent one of the Archangel Michael global transmissions was on the spring equinox of March 20th of this year. And for those of you who participated in that and you've been wondering, hey, why isn't it up on the podcast yet? It has to do with the fact that it was my birthday, and then it was my husband's birthday, and then there's all of these things that just kind of like started going crazy in our schedule. So I apologize that the recording was not up on the podcast yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a recording of this session, and I'm going to post them both at the same time. And I'm making a commitment to not leaving the office tonight. I got the one from March ready to be sent to my assistant, and then I will send him this one as well, so that like hopefully within the next like 2 to 3 days, they'll both be posted up. That's the intention. So for those of you who aren't familiar with who I am and my work, I'm not going to really be speaking a lot about myself tonight. I got questions that I have put together on behalf of all of us. I have a few things I want to say about the series, this particular free full moon series, the things I want to make announcements about, etc. But I'm not going to be speaking too much about myself. But you all registered on my website, and you'll all be added to my email newsletter list who have an opportunity to get to know me more. And you can always go to AnnaJonesOnline.com where you registered. Go to the homepage, watch that little 30-minute video that's up there of an interview with me for the Shift Network. Hear more about me that way. Read about me more. Also on the bio page. But really one of the best ways to learn about this work that I'm doing with these transmissions is through the Celestial Voice podcast, which are all for free. You can access those through my website, and it's just click on podcast, and all the Celestial Voice podcasts are the only ones that are currently up there. And the other way that you can access the podcast is via iTunes. So at the moment, it's through my website and through subscribing onto the podcast of iTunes. So you can just do it, listen to previous podcasts that way. I'm going to ask, thank you so much for saying hello. I'm going to ask that people wait to say hello and to make comments and any questions or anything like that in the chat, and just hold to do that later because I don't want to distract kind of from my focus, and it can be very distracting when the chats pop up. Also, I have several things that I do need to kind of just focus on for getting us ready to go into the transmission. So if we could just hold and just I'll do that later. Like at the end, I'll kind of tell everybody, okay, now we can say hi, or we can say goodbye, or we can make a comment, or we can ask a question, whatever it is, and I'll go through all of them at the end. So if we could just hold doing that for now. So next things I'll announce is this series itself. So tonight is the first full moon, and what Archangel Michael, in these mystical experiences that I've had with him and these clairaudient messages that I've been receiving from him since consciously knowing it was him since the early 1990s, 92, 93. 93 is when I believe that first trip to Lake Louise happened, when I first started receiving those messages, consciously knowing that's who it was that I was getting the messages from. But really a lifelong relationship that I've had with Archangel Michael and the angels, and lifelong experiences of both asking me to tell somebody something or share somebody something, giving me a message to deliver for somebody. Very much like a strong clairaudient experience, clairvoyant experience throughout my life, and they've guided me to do the work at this level. Actually, they've guided me to basically go into the meditative state that I'm going to be going into in our session tonight, and to be able to just kind of put myself aside and let their energy come in, and let them use my voice to speak through whatever message they want to speak through for us. But they're not just transmitting through me, they're actually transmitting to all of us. So the reason why I call them global transmissions is what he explains to me when he's giving me these requests, these clairaudient mystical experiences that I'm having, where he's requesting to do this, right? He's requesting to do these transmissions, right? He's requesting to deliver these messages. And he tells me basically kind of when. Again, a lot of them have been on solstices and equinoxes, but I did like maybe three previous series. I think it was 2020, 2021, 2022, that time period. He also asked to do like 7-month series like this. Not sure why it's 7 months either, but he's asked to do that in previous times on the 20th of every month, which the only thing I could ever associate with as far as any kind of natural time or anything that may be happening, because he does tend to like to do them on the times when there's some kind of like natural shift in planetary time or cosmic time, celestial time that's happening. Was on those 20th messages, it was always like when the sun was moving into kind of a new sign of the zodiac. So usually like the 20th or solstices, equinoxes, this is the first time he's ever asked to have it be done on the full moons, and every full moon for a series of 7 months. So he said that specifically this first full moon of spring through to the harvest moon of fall. So that was the specific message. And so those dates that you see on there, they're not arbitrary, right? So when you signed up for this, you signed up for the whole series. Again, it's free if you can attend. Not, great. If you can't attend, then no worries. You'll be able to access it through the podcast. The recordings will be available. And I'm actually going to be putting them up on iTunes as well, because there's a now, sorry, I mentioned iTunes, YouTube. There's now a YouTube channel that I've created for the Celestial Voice podcast that has a few of them up there. Just some of the most recent ones are up on the YouTube channel for if you just go to YouTube and put in Celestial Voice podcast, you'll also be able to find the video recordings that way. So I'd like to, he's guided me in doing these over the years, and in the process that they gave me, I always do it, right, because of the process that they gave me, which I'll explain a little bit as we go through this, because we're going to use the process basically to go into the meditation for receiving the message. But there's a process, and the process is a never approach without questions, right? So anytime I'm holding these global transmissions, I always formulate questions that I believe are helpful for all of us on a global kind of level, right? Like not personal questions for me or for any individuals per se, but things that may be helpful for all of us to know. So one of my questions, I'm going to put them out as I kind of go along through talking about some of these things rather than tick through a list per se. I'll just kind of float them out there, which is how I kind of like to do them as I go along. So one of my questions is, why did he want this full moon? Because I really don't know. Why does he want it to be on the full moon? It's not convenient in my scheduling. It's actually a lot easier to schedule something on the first Tuesday of every month, or the last Wednesday, or something along that line, right? Even the 20th of every month is easier for scheduling. So I'm not complaining in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying it's not something that I would choose for myself, but it's something clearly he wanted. So I know that the full moons are very powerful. I often have led moon circles, both for the new moons and full moons, and at different sacred times over the course of many years in which I've been an interfaith minister, and I've been doing spiritual healing work, and also been this an angelic medium, so to speak, this angelic channel and instrument for the angels' work. So but why this? Why now? Is there something special about the full moons during this time period? And I wanted to prepare several things to say about the full moon, but then I was getting the intuitive guidance to ask him to say some things about it, right? So I picked just a few things, just a few little details that I will give about this particular full moon, because we're in a 3-day cycle of it, and this is the peak, right? So the exact time, like I said, was just a few minutes ago here at Pacific time. So we're in that peak energy of the full moon. But the lunar cycles, just like the solstice cycles and the equinox cycles, just like the new moon cycles, the eclipse cycles, they all are in threes, right? So the day before, the day of, and the day after is the moon cycle, the full moon cycle. So yeah, so again, we're going to wait on the chats, and I'll answer all questions that get put into the chat later. And so if we could just wait and put the questions and stuff in the chats later, that would be great. I made an announcement about that earlier, but I'm happy to repeat that. So yeah, so here we are kind of in the middle of it, but tomorrow we'll be experiencing the full moon energy as well. So if there's anything specifically that he would like to say, one of my questions is there something about this particular full moon? So why the full moon in general? He wants to do these transmissions. Also, is there something specific about this full moon that he wants us to focus on tonight, tomorrow, for spiritual energy, for healing, just anything that he wants to say about that. And then in general, the energies of full moons in general. So, but what I will say about this particular full moon, I just did come up with like a few little talking points real quickly here. This particular full moon tonight is known in indigenous peoples of this nation. I'm in the United States, so for those of you who might be joining from otherwise, I'm talking about here in the United States. The indigenous peoples knew this full moon as the pink moon, known for the color of the early spring flowers. Because again, this is the first moon of the spring, and it carries with it the bursting forth energy, right? So the energy for things to be able to burst forth and come forth, right? That pink moon, that bursting forth of the early spring flowers, that bursting energy for so much to begin to awaken and activate and begin to grow. It carries with it that energy. It also carries with it what's referred to in the Celtic tradition as the greening. The moon right before spring and this one, those two full moons would be the ones that can bring forth, usher forth the energy, give and nourish the energy for the greening of the earth. It also requires water and all of the other factors, right? But it has energy that it contributes towards that greening of the earth. So it's a very special time for awakening and things resurrecting, literally, right? So it's actually the first full moon of spring, which Easter is always the first Sunday after the first full moon of spring. So it's always celebrated that. So it's the beginning of what's referred to as the Holy Week leading into Easter, with Passover beginning during this full moon cycle. So Sunday will be Easter next week, but today is tonight actually at sunset, which has probably already happened for people back east. I would assume so. Giving the clock at sunset begins the holy celebration also of Passover. It's a special sacred time to a lot of spiritual traditions, and I'm an interfaith minister, so I have a background in world religions and sacred spiritual traditions. So I'm familiar with a lot of the sacredness of things that are associated with this time period and with this particular full moon. So again, carrying also that energy of not only new life springing forth and bursting forth, but renewal, regeneration, literally resurrection, those types of energies associated with this particular full moon. Other things happening, I'm not going to get much into the astrology of it. I'm not an astrologer. I do very much appreciate good astrology. I do more with cosmology, the bigger picture of the cosmos, and that's kind of more where my passion is. But I will be focusing more on astrology in some of the study work with this material, and I'm going to explain that here in a moment. Not a lot with astrology, but some, and I'll explain that here in a moment. But I will just mention, for those of you who do follow or you'd like to know, like, hey, you know, where is the moon located at? What energy is it carrying according to the constellations? There's two different major forms of astrology. The sidereal astrology, which is the one that is the most astronomically accurate. It's actually true to what you look up in the night sky and you can see with your physical eyes. Vedic astrology, things along that line are associated with sidereal astrology. So in sidereal astrology, if you can walk out tonight and you can see and you can look up for yourself and see and look at the moon and maybe even use an app if you're not familiar with constellations. You can see it present there in the constellation of Virgo, which gives it lots of feminine energy and also very grounding, earthy kind of energy that goes along with being physically present there in the constellation of Virgo. In tropical astrology, which we call Western astrology, it's not astronomically accurate. It hasn't been for a very long time, but it is seasonally accurate. And that's one of the reasons why it's still applicable and we still very much feel a connectedness to what is told to us through tropical astrology. And so it's considered in tropical astrology to be connected to the sign of Libra tonight. It's not physically located in Libra, but it is carrying the energy of some of that Libra energy. So again, I'm not going to get into the explanation of all of it tonight, nor am I every time going to go into a lot of astrology. I'm going to go deeper into any astrological influences associated with the moons in a study group that I'm going to be leading of these messages. So these free transmissions on the full moon of every month for the next 7 months, they're going to be free for any and all of you to listen to the recordings, to participate live. I encourage you to participate live. Please, please do, because it really is a wonderful experience for everybody who participates live. The recordings are wonderful, and I feel like people can make that connection with Archangel Michael that way as well. But people report to me all kinds of amazing experiences that they have during the live transmissions of feeling like Archangel Michael was working directly with them during that time period, or feeling his presence, feeling his energy. Because like I said, the transmission isn't just going to me or through me. It's actually why it's called a global transmission is not even because I'm making it free to everybody in the public, but it's also, he calls it a global transmission because he's sending energy to everyone when we're invoking him, right? So we're invoking him, we're asking him, we're calling upon him to do this, right? To do what he has encouraged us to do, to call upon him and ask him to send this transmission of love, this transmission of light, this transmission of wisdom. And sometimes the wisdom is very profound. Sometimes the wisdom, we don't even understand it until later. I know for me personally, that's even an experience that I have, is that sometimes I have to go back to the messages myself and I have to kind of process them, integrate them myself to understand more about just how deep some of the wisdom can be and the profound exchanges of some of the wisdom. So he's transmitting all of that, right? So it's this whole energetic light transmission that he's giving and light activation. He uses it to awaken things. The last thing I'll say before I transition away from talking about this particular moon cycle is that again, during the study group I'm going to lead, I will send out emails to everybody about that. It'll be talking more about the astrology, not only of the past moon cycle, but of the current coming moon cycle, because I'm going to be leading the study groups on the first Tuesday of every month. And it'll be right before the new transmission will be coming through. So, and it's going to start next month. And so next month I'll do a study group. And in that study group, I will give a transcript to everybody who participates in that. The study group is a paid class, right? So it'll include a class, it'll include a guided meditation that I'm going to create based on whatever inspiration comes from these messages, right? So I'll create a guided meditation for all of us to help integrate the wisdom and the things that are being transmitted in these messages. And I'll give everybody a transcript, and I will do a reading of it, but it's not just a reading. I'll do whatever teaching I can, sharing that I can, etc. But in that study group, which again, it's not even up on my website yet, I'm going to be emailing everybody soon. But in that study group, I'm also going to go deeper into some of the astrological influences. So if you do want to learn more about, hey, what is some of this, what is she talking about with sidereal astrology and tropical astrology, and what is some of the energies of these particular moons that we've been working with? I'll talk briefly about the past one because we'll be still in the cycle of it. And it hasn't completed until the next one, right? And then I'll talk more. Most of my focus will be on the upcoming one. And the study group will help us to prepare ourselves for, because they're just a few days, actually, the study group is going to time out to be just a few days before the next transmission, right? So, yeah, so I'm excited about it. I've led the study groups in conjunction with these free transmissions before and gotten just wonderful feedback from those who've participated. And it's a great opportunity to learn more about Archangel Michael and these amazing things that he wants to help us with and share with and get further help from him in addition to these transmissions. One last thing about the astrology happening, the planet Venus does go direct tonight, also today, may have already happened, didn't look up the exact time it was happening. That's going to help free up energy too, right? So it's going to help free up and move things in a more positive direction, especially in regards to our relationships with each other. Romantic relationships, yes, but also other forms of relationships as well. And it can be good for improving the flow of positive energy for that in a direct way, in a very like forward moving type of way. So that's also happening. So my questions to him are, I'm going to kind of keep going through some of these questions as I'm also making other types of announcements. In addition to this particular, like, why is he doing it on the full moons? It seems like emotions are running really, really high right now. And what I know about full moons is that emotions get very amplified, right? So anybody who's experienced it, we know it for sure. It's a very real, palpable thing. Even emergency rooms experience it. Even police departments experience it in very large cities and areas where there can be more calls, there can be, more emergencies happen, etc. On nights of full moons and time periods of full moons. It's kind of a recorded type of thing that happens, and it's just been known throughout the millennia that that full moons amplify things. And anytime we have like these sacred alignments happen, right? So sacred alignments amplify things, and so there's an amplification of the full moon, and the moon has always been historically associated in almost every spiritual tradition I've ever looked at. I'll have to like go back and like think of ones in which it doesn't have a connection with the emotions. The watery aspect of who we are, the watery nature of our emotions. And so it amplifies everything and it amplifies emotions. So I would like to ask him during this time period where it seems like emotions are extremely amplified right now, and it's very, very high, like emotional energy, and emotional, like, just upset, like it's just kind of like big waves of it. As an empath, which is one of my other intuitive abilities, I feel it very strongly. I feel it strongly not only in me but in the collective energy fields as well. So if there's anything particularly that he recommends, I would love to hear if he would recommend anything for dealing with all of the strong emotions that we're experiencing right now. Is there any way that we can process them differently, or just heal them, process them at all, right? Is there anything that we need to do with that emotional energy? Any particular way we need to move it? In the spring equinox, sorry, the last transmission from the global transmissions were the spring one, the kind of standalone. It wasn't part of the series. It was a standalone message. He gave what I call an amazing teaching on kind of empowering ourselves and accepting our power and really using the power that we have as co-creators and realizing that we are very powerful and we're not powerless. It was really an amazing message to help, I believe, awaken the power of who we are as co-creators in this reality. Like, we're not the creator. He talks about the divine and the creator. He talks about God, references that whole kind of sacred experience and relationship that we have with the divine in his messages. But he also talks about that we are here to be these powerful co-creators in this world, and that's part of our destiny, and that we have so much more power than we know and than we realize. And that's been a theme in many of his messages. I have to say, it's not just this most recent one on the spring equinox. It's a big theme that he's had in many of his messages. So I would just kind of like to ask if there's anything further that he would like to say on that subject of us awakening our power, using our power, being the powerful co-creators that we are during this time period right now, because the world seems to be in multiple crises. This has been kind of something that he's been also speaking about for decades in my work, but it's just been building and building, and it seems like we're in kind of like the biggest I've ever experienced, right? The biggest I've ever seen us be in, as far as like multiple crises, across the board, right? You name a category, it seems like there's a crisis that has either started or has been building or it's been just created, etc. So it seems like there's a lot of them happening all at once right now, and it can be very overwhelming, especially to empaths. Again, people who are intuitive feelers, who are very, very strong and sensitive in feeling, care for others, feeling for others, not feeling sorry for, but feeling for others. It's extremely strong for people who are empath, and extremely difficult, challenging times. So I also would like to ask him. Again, these are questions that I thought just would be good for any of us and all of us, not even just people who are empaths, right? But for all people, if there's more that you'd like to say about empathy, because is there a crisis building up because of a lack of it, or because of, some people think it's because there's too much of it? Personally, as an empath, I don't think so. I don't believe that at all. But is there, is empathy playing a role in any of this, or can it play a role in this? Or is it meant to play a role in this? He's talked about it as a virtue in previous messages. If you go through any of the Celestial Voice podcasts, you'll see that he's been giving a whole series of very deep wisdom teachings on the subject of the virtues. And I always welcome him to, if there's any new virtue that he hasn't spoken of before, I always put that question out there and ask him if there's a new one he might like to speak about. If so, please do. And if not, if he'd like to speak about the virtue of empathy or say anything new or further beyond what he's already said previously about that, or anything that he wants to remind us about that. And then there's a few other things. Yes, we're just going to wait on the comments, but thank you for commenting. We're just going to hold doing it until afterwards. So there's a few other things that I have received from him auditorily today, actually. One of the things that I was just kind of meditating, tuning in, trying to get ready for just kind of the energy that I need to be in order to do these transmissions. I'm just trying to tune into Archangel Michael and ask him, things, and ask him if there was even anything he wanted me to ask. Right? It's like, is there anything in particular you want me to ask? And he said something really interesting. He said that the angels are appearing more and more to people, that he is appearing more to people, and that the angels are appearing more and more to people. And it kind of like, I was like, really? Like, how? Because I know that they can do that. They can appear to us in many different ways. They can appear to us in our dreams. So I'm assuming that probably must be happening. They can appear to us through signs that they give in nature, like even a bird that flies by or something like that. May not always be, may not always be just a bird. Although I would definitely take it as a sign, especially if it's something significant, if it's something synchronistic, and it doesn't seem like just a casual experience or something that stands out about the experience. but they can appear to us in a variety of different ways, right? They can appear to us even through manifesting. They can appear to us through our spiritual sight, through our spiritual vision, through our being able to see them that way, and having like a waking state or a sleeping state vision of them. In both either a winged form, which is one way that they do appear, obviously, through his history, but also in a very personal way that they don't always appear in their winged form. And they appear in kind of very personal ways, like just people that we feel very, very comfortable with. But they also can appear, they can physically appear. And I was wondering if he was meaning that because I didn't quite get an answer. It was more like to ask the question. So I'm asking the question because my curiosity got piqued by the statement. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, that we're appearing more to people and they're going to be appearing more to people. So, of course, the ways that it's obvious, that would be easy for us to discern. But one of my other questions about that is all the ways in which it's maybe not obvious, how would we discern that too? So what are the ways in which it is not obvious? How could we discern that? And just what is there a reason why, right? Like, is it just because there is so much stirred up, there is so much immense change and turmoil and crises happening and multiple crises happening and so much transformation happening, is it that the reason why, or is there something else that we need to be aware of on the spiritual level? I do know, for example, he has talked about the great shift of the ages. And he's been kind of, I've been getting messages from the angels about that since 1987, that we're in a time period that we're all here living during times of a massive shift of the ages that's taking place, a whole new era that is beginning for the earth and for all humankind, which is a positive thing. He never ever speaks in terms of it not being a positive thing. An easy thing, no. A positive thing, yes. And there's different difficult stages for going through it. And so he has a way of putting even some of the most difficult things in positive ways for us to think of it, in positive ways for us to understand it. And that's one of the beauties of the beautiful gifts of the angels. They're angels, and especially Archangel Michael. He's an archangel for all of us, right? Like he can be invoked by anyone, anywhere, any place, anytime. He doesn't just work with one group of people or one person. He literally works with all of humanity and all of the earth. And that's something too for us to remember. Oh, what would Archangel Michael, I've literally had people ask me, what would Archangel Michael want to do anything on a full moon? Well, he literally works with the planet itself. So he's an archangel for the earth itself. And all beings on the earth, actually, not just human beings, and not just human beings that play certain roles or who have certain gifts or who are part of a certain religion or tradition. Actually, he tells me that every spiritual tradition has some kind of understanding of who he is. They just don't all use the name Michael to refer to him as. And even those who do, the major religions of the world that do refer to this being of pure light and being of pure love that's here working with all of us and the planet itself. He says that even those who do, there's different pronunciations of that name as well. In fact, for our praise chant tonight, we'll do an invocation using the name of Michael in a different pronunciation of it. One of the pronunciations being Michael, emphasizing the L part of the name, because the L that you hear in Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Haniel, there's so many different angels where they're especially archangels where their name ends in El, is an ancient Hebrew name for the divine. And that name in and of itself, the name Michael or Michael in this pronunciation we're going to use for the praise chant. I'm going to lead us all in. There's a chant that is also part of the whole entire invocation that I've been guided to use, and I'm going to continue to use that for as long as they tell me to. And in that we're invoking Archangel Michael, which literally translates to "he who is like unto God." That name, Michael, translates to that, and the God part is El, right? The presence of of the divine is L. But before I lead us into the chant, it's coming very soon. Let me just take a quick look here at my notes and see if there was anything else. I don't see anything else that I thought I needed to say. I have a few announcements for the end, but yeah, I think I put out all my questions. Okay, so the process itself, we're going to start that now. So like I was explaining, I'm going to lead a praise chant. The wording of it is Michael, Michael, Michael. So that's the first line. And then Adonai Elohim. That's the next line. Adonai Elohim. And then Adonai Eloheinu. Eloheinu is the name. And then Michael, Michael, Michael. So it's 4 lines. Michael, Michael, Michael. Adonai Elohim. Adonai Eloheinu. Michael, Michael, Michael. So there's four lines in the praise chant. And everybody's muted. I can't see you, I can't hear you. So you're welcome to do it out loud with me when I begin to do it. I'll be doing it for all of us, but it's best, this experience, these transmissions, everybody has the best experience from them. And this is his instruction too. If you fully participate, like don't just listen to the message, don't just watch me, don't just be an observer, be a participant. This is what he says. Like, don't just be a watcher or observer, just be a participant. And then that's when you're going to like get the most out of it. That's when you're going to feel maybe the connection with him or whatever way, because it's not, again, I'm not just invoking it to me, right? It's all of us, and we're all invoking it to like all of us and to the planet itself, right? So we're invoking his transmission of this not only message, but also the love, the light, the energy that he has to give to everyone and to all beings, right, and to the planet itself. So after the praise chant, so this is a process that they given me that they told me if I use it, it would always work. And so I keep using it and I'll do so until they tell me otherwise. But after the praise chant, I'm just going to seamlessly guide us through this. Will be the formal asking, so the asking through the formal prayer. So it'll be kind of a formal prayer that I'll guide us through at that point in time, and asking the divine to come in, asking the divine light to come in, asking Archangel Michael to come in, asking for the transmission, all those things, right? And then I'll seamlessly guide us straight through to the third part of the process, which is a gratitude prayer. So like kind of connecting with gratitude in our hearts and opening our hearts through gratitude, and then the gratitude prayer, focusing on sending out a gratitude prayer. And then the fourth part of the kind of the whole process that we're going to be using is the receiving, right? So it's praising, asking, thanking, and receiving. And then I'm going to guide you at that point. When we get to that point, I'm just going to guide you to go into a relaxed, meditative listening state. You get as relaxed as you can, but if you're too sleepy, you can lay down if you want, but if you're sleepy, I suggest sitting up, right? Because people sometimes they do tell me that they go deep, and especially for those of you back east, it's a little bit late. So if you don't want to fall asleep, you might want to sit up and just doing your meditation that way. Your meditation is just to keep your eyes closed and just breathe and relax and just listen. It's a listening meditation for you, but it's also an opportunity for you to like really open to receive from Archangel Michael, not just the words, but again, receive from him. We all need it, right? We all need it at any time in our lives, and especially right now. And I do think that this is an extraordinary time when we have so much need, right? There's just so much need for support and for light and for really the gifts that the angels have to give, right? So the help and the ways that they can help us that no one else can. So yeah, so we'll just receive whatever. I'll go into the trance state at that point in time. My voice doesn't change that much. It changes maybe a little bit. Of course, it's like I step aside and their energy comes in. It'll be my voice that he's using, the angels, but it's Archangel Michael's tonight, his time. So it'll be my voice that he'll be using to speak through the message portion of the transmission. Just a tiny portion of the whole energy transmission that he's sending. And then it's obvious usually how he usually says goodbye, or he'll just end the message somehow. The vocal part of the transmission will just kind of come to an end, maybe. And then I'll guide us up out of the meditation. The first thing I like to do is to do just a little bit of gratitude at the end. And then the process that they gave me is to return back to praise again, to think of it as four things that are done in 5 steps, right? So the praising, asking, thanking, receiving, and then back to praising again. So think of it like a circle, right? Like almost like a clock. Like we're going to do praising, asking, thanking, receiving, and then we're going to go back to praising again. It's going to complete the full cycle. And then once that's done, I'll bring us fully up out of the meditation. And the first thing I like to do is share anything, if there was something emotionally that was striking to me, if there was something visually, just anything that stood out to me, or anything that went in addition to what he was saying, I'll try to say that right away. And then I'll open it up for everybody to be able to put in the chat whatever you want to say as well, any comments you want to make. I'll ask you to do that at that time. Okay. All right, so let's get ourselves comfortable. Let's get ourselves ready. Anybody who has any anything you want to do, like if you want to sit down, you want to lay down, just anywhere where you can relax. And we're just going to drink of water here. Okay. Getting ourselves comfortable. Sitting back, closing our eyes. And we're going to begin by taking some long, slow, deep breaths in order to center ourselves. And I'm going to begin now with the praise chant after we've done our breathing. Again, Nathan, join me, please, as a participant in doing so silently or out loud. Mikael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai Eloheinu, Mikael, 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 Adonai Elohim, Adonai Eloheinu, Mikael, 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 Adonai Elohim, Adonai Eloheinu, Mikael, 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 Adonai Elohim, Adonai Eloheinu, Mikael, 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 Adonai Elohim, Henu, Michael, Michael, Michael. Deep inhale and exhale. Now we're going to move from the praising into the rest of the invocation and to the asking. So please continue to join me, this time silently. So I have all of us silently call upon the presence of divine love and divine light, whatever way feels right to you. And then let's ask to be protected and connected by divine love and divine light. And then I want you to ask that we be connected and protected in a circle of love and light that connects all of us from wherever we are in space and time, creating a circle of light amongst ourselves and all who will be joining and all will be participating in this time and beyond. Circle of light that is protection, that is filled with love, where we can unite our light to amplify and serve the work that Archangel Michael does, the work of the angels in the world, adding our light to theirs. And bringing their light into our circle, specifically invoking now, in whatever way feels right to you, Archangel Michael's love and light to come fully into our circle of light, invoking his presence to unite with our light. Invoking his presence to come through for the whole world and for him to transmit the global transmission that he has asked for us to call upon him and ask him for, and asked us to participate in, for whatever way we are called. Ask him to speak through also a verbal message transmission, to not only send the transmission of energy to the whole planet, but also verbal transmission, asking him to hear the questions, hear the concerns, the things that I've put forth, give us any answers, guidance, anything that he can about any or all those things. But also giving him permission. So let's silently all give him permission to speak to us and to transmit anything that he feels is for our highest good and for the highest good of all. And then we're going to move from the asking into the thanking. First of all, feeling in our hearts gratitude, letting our hearts be opened by the gratitude that we feel, and directing that gratitude first towards Archangel Michael and the role that he and all of the other angels play in the ways that they help us, in the ways that they serve us, in all the ways that are known to us and all the ways that are unknown to us. I'm just taking a moment to send out that silent gratitude prayer, that silent gratitude communication for Archangel Michael and who he is and all that he does. And then the final gratitude prayer, again, in whatever way feels right to you, sending it out directly to the divine, a prayer for thankfulness and appreciation, offering gratitude for all of the blessings of life, the blessings of things that we take for granted or that we have taken for granted, the gratitude for all of those things that are in our lives, that are in our world, even the very things that give us life. Just taking this moment to send out a silent prayer of gratitude. And now we're going to move into the receiving. So I want you to deepen your breathing. Let yourself relax even more now, opening into receptive, open, just listening meditation. Keep your mind and your heart open to receive as you listen, not just to the words, but to Archangel Michael in any direct way that he may be connecting with you personally as well, and connecting with us all. I'm going to go deeper now into my silent meditation until the next words will be the message coming through. The auditory portion of the transmission will come through after I go into the silence. I have so much to say in this transmission that there will not be the ability to speak it all. So beyond the words that I will be able to deliver through this channel at this time, I and others of the angelic realm, and especially the realm of the archangels that I lead, are choosing to come forth more and more now to help deliver all, not only that needs to be said, but all of the support, the help, the assistance that you need individually and collectively. We have chosen to do this in response to the higher calling that we are being given and being asked to do. It is in response to so much prayer, calls for help, calls for assistance. And it is in response to what we have been asked to do on high as guardians, especially those of us in the archangel realm of the earth and of humankind. For I, Archangel Michael, am not the only one who serves as guardian. We are all guardians, so to speak. While the archangels serve as the guardian angels for the planet, and as this channel has said, for all people, all life, all sacred divine creation, for all in the divine creation is sacred. The many and the one individual that you are, and the many that you are a part of a great oneness that you share. But then there are also the guardian angels, and then the way that they work with you individually and personally. It is not just us in the archangel realm that are choosing now to come in closer, amplify the work that we are going to be doing and that we are doing with you. We can't do it all for you. We cannot emphasize this enough. We cannot do it all for you. We can only help you, assist you, serve you, create and co-create with you. For we are not the only guardians of the earth. All of the higher beings of light that are gathering more and more now, and more coming in to assist. So many benevolent spiritual beings and spiritual forces coming forth as we are invoked, as we are asked to do so, to assist. And be sure that you keep asking, because that is one of the ways in which you co-create with us. And that is one of your roles as guardians, for we are not just the only guardians of the earth. You are also guardians of the earth. You are a part of it, and it is part of you. You aren't just on the earth, and in the earth, it is in you. And the immensely powerful, eternal spirit souls that you are aren't just here to experience life on earth, aren't just here to have the human experience. You are here to be guardians. You are here to be stewards. You are part of the earth, and it is part of you with a destiny. That as stewards, as guardians, you have power to be co-creators. As I speak of in so many of my messages, power given to you by the Creator of all that is. Power given to you through your free will, through the gifts of your imagination, through all of the spiritual gifts that you have that are unique and unique to each one of you alone, that I refer to in several of my messages about destiny, and in the message that I have delivered through this channel in those regards, and on answering the call of destiny. And this is a call of destiny, and it's getting louder and louder, as I've said in previous messages on this topic. I said that it would. I foretold in previous messages that the call of your destiny, individually and collectively, would grow stronger. Every soul has a destiny. Every time period is unique upon the earth. Every era is unique. Every generation has its destiny. Some greater than others, and some larger than others, and some more transformational than others. And this is a large one. This time period that you've all taken birth in, that all of the generations that are present right now, at a very profound, amplified period of destiny. And you aren't being asked to fulfill anybody else's other than your own. Just being who you are and being true to yourselves. Being true to using your gifts in the way that you can use them. And not feeling disempowered in any way by anything that is happening. As I did speak through this channel at the time of the spring equinox of this year, I reminded you all that this is the time to use your power more than ever. And to use your creativity and to use your imaginations. Get creative. Be creative. It's a creative power that no one has the power over. And it's a creative power within you that no one can ever take away, weaken, or diminish. And whatever your gifts are, get more and more creative in your use of them. But also dedicated, determined, resolved. I have spoken also previously about the virtue of resolve and how it is this deep, deep place in the deepest core of your being that you must touch into and use that power of resolve and be resolved to fulfill your personal and collective destiny, even if you don't know all of what it is. Focus on who you are, what your gifts are, what creatively and imaginatively comes to you. And then just keep doing it with great determination, strength, and resolve. But also, in addition, with an open heart, with love, compassion, empathy. For these virtues and all virtues, they are the divine energies present everywhere and in everything that you have to co-create with and through and for. And they must be at the center of your choices. Because when the divine virtues are at the center of the choices that you make, the actions that you take, the words that you speak, the creativity and the creative ideas and the ways that you integrate those into the things that you do, when the divine virtues are at the center of that, what guides that, informs that, is the cause and purpose for those actions and choices and words. Then you thrive. Then you thrive. And you don't just thrive as an individual, you create the energetic environment through which all thrive. And you all are co-creators that are creating the energetic environment. Remember this. You don't control the weather. Those things are of higher order. There's many things of the earth that you do not control. You're not in control of things that even you think you are. It's not about control. Co-creation isn't about controlling anyone or anything, but it is about awareness and consciously using the gifts that you have and knowing that you have energy. First and foremost, you are energy. Everything is. And this isn't just metaphysics. It is not just esoteric spirituality. It's hard science. And it's new science. It's truth that everything is energy. And there is a crisis, convergence happening right now in your nation and in your world, and the nations of the world. And it's a building crisis convergence. It's been building. I've spoken about it previously. And there's so many mistakes being made. So many. But this isn't about blame or shame. But it does require moving more into the virtues. Each and every one of you, collectively and individually, realizing, not just knowing intellectually, but realizing that you have energy, that you are part of the collective energy, and you have energy in everything that you do, and every word that you speak. You have energy in the way that you use everything that you have. So what do you want to do with that energy? How do you choose to use that energy? Because you must use the energy. You must. And it's not possible to ignore. It's not possible to turn away or to think that you can disconnect from the whole and the whole of what is happening and the crisis convergence and the karmic inflection point that I've also been speaking about. There's no disconnecting. You're all part of one vast energy field. You can't disconnect, remove yourself from it. You can take time to focus, and you can direct your focus, and you can control your focus. And that's very important. I have been speaking for many, many messages about the oneness that you share, that you are part of a vast circle of oneness, the oneness of all life. You're unique and you're individual, and that individuality is sacred. And I will always speak about it, and I will always hold it sacred and celebrate the unique diversity of each and every individual soul that makes up the oneness that you all share. You are one family of light, one family of spirit, one children of the divine. That is the cause of all causes, source of all sources. Beloved source of all love for all beings. And you are being called to your destiny. Use your energy. Stand strong. Be strong. Anchor your light. Hold your light. Direct your light. Focus your light. Use the virtues. And use them to move your emotions from one vibration into another. Because the great struggle that is building this crisis and making it stronger and stronger, a control drama that is taking place, that is creating so much uncertainty. It's ultimately a crisis of consciousness. It's ultimately a crisis that has been building and building of awareness, a crisis of energy awareness. There's no lack of energy, none at all, nowhere to be found. There's the energy available to all of you for everything that you need to do for yourselves individually and collectively. All of the energy that you need to do to fulfill your individual and personal destinies are available to you. It's there within you. There's an unlimited reservoir of it within your soul. An unlimited reservoir of unlimited source energy, unlimited creative energy and creative power within your soul for you to tap into and to live from and speak from and serve from and help others from. So where is a great deal of your energy being directed right now? So much energy for all of you, even those who do not think of themselves as emotional people and may not project themselves in any kind of way emotionally outwardly. There are very strong waves of emotional energy moving even in those people, but in the vast majority of people, most people are conscious of it. Most people are aware of how strong the emotional energy is. And its currents and how it moves in waves. And how it has cycles. The emotional energy can be very cyclical, like the cycles of the moon, which very much also connect to the cycles of the waves and the tides. And there's great tsunamis of emotions sweeping the planet right now. The word that I would like to give as ultimately my theme for this message is the word uncertainty. So many of these emotions are coming and being stirred by uncertainty. Not all. There are many other emotions not directly connected to it, but almost all emotions connect back to it somehow, some way, because they connect back to the mystery of life. These uncertainties connected to the great mystery, the great mystery of life itself. Even for everything that you know about every emotion that you feel, there's still a mystery to each one. For everything that you know about every emotion, there's still so much uncertainty of what you don't know about them. And all the ways that they're consciously affecting you that you think you may be certain about, but there's so much ways that they unconsciously affect you that you are not certain about. So much uncertainty that is there that you don't even know. That's how much there is. That you don't even know that it's uncertain and that it's that degree of uncertainty. Your soul has no issue with this. Your soul is the part of you that can and always will and always does face the great mystery and sacred mystery of life and know how to embrace it, work with it, move and co-create with it through the intuitive knowing of your soul. You know, and you will know, and you can know what you need to know. Can you know everything? No. Can the great mystery of everything be figured out and be given as answers to you all at once? No. In a short period of time? No. Over the course of your soul's evolution? Yes. But all? Not even then. Not even then, throughout the course of the eternality of your soul's evolution, is all of the sacred mystery known. For there is always a part of the divine that remains the great mystery, the sacred mystery. In order for love to be as powerful as it is, there has to be a mystery to it. This is a very long teaching. I've given some of it previously through this channel. I will give it more in the future. But that said, while the divine holds sacred mysteries that are known to the divine and divine only, not even known to us, known to the divine and the divine only. And the divine will can actually even be very mysterious because of that. There is so much that the soul knows and can know and will grow into realizing in this incredible journey that your soul is on. A beautiful journey, ultimately, even though we understand very much on the emotional level that that journey through the unknown, especially on the earth planet and the third dimension, in the human body, in the human incarnation, can bring unique challenges that go along with it. But those challenges aren't meant to be struggles. Those challenges are meant to be catalysts for growth. On the emotional level, conscious or unconscious, one of the most profound experiences of emotion that you all have is the emotion of fear. Are there emotions greater than it? Yes. The greatest of all emotions being love. But love is so much more than emotion. Love is a virtue. It is a power. It is a force. It is divine energy connected to the sacred mystery of all that is in and of itself. And so much more beyond what words can describe. So there are many emotions greater than fear, but fear is a very powerful one that you all experience. And I have been saying for some time and asking humbly, but in a straightforward way, for you to learn to control one of the things that you can control. So much you cannot. But what you can control is your own mind, your own emotions. And instead of letting the emotions be in control of you, you be in control of those emotions. And not just your mind controlling them, because the mind controlling your emotions only has so much success. It can succeed, it can be, and it is a very helpful tool, and it must be used to control the emotions. It must be used in all that you do in your life. It's a crucial part of your worldly existence. But you are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. You are not the material existence around you. You, the true self, is the soul self, the soul that you are, the true identity, the eternal identity of who you are. You can control your mind and your emotions. And every spiritual teacher and teaching and practice and tradition and religion throughout all of humankind's existence has understood that the multiple ways and processes for that involve some type of contemplation practice, meditation practice, at the very beginning or at the very center of what is necessary to do so. Is it all? No. Is it everything that needs to be done? No. Prayer also plays a role and is a very powerful thing to include with it. And prayer can be used with meditation. Centering prayer, for example, is a meditative form of prayer where you're centering in the heart and speaking from there, invoking from there, communicating, expressing from there. But prayer isn't just about asking. If you use prayer in a meditative way, then it is about communicating. And it's not just a one-way communication. It can also ultimately be a prayerful meditation experience, can be a two-way communication. But that is where the centering part comes in, where the contemplative part comes in, where the meditation portion is so vital, because it is the meditative state in which you receive. And it is meditation in all of its forms and practices, the most important tool that you must use for controlling your emotions, for being in control of your mind and being in control of your emotions, and not having them control you, and especially fear. I have humbly asked for there to be awareness brought to how fear is being amplified, not only in the world around you, but within yourselves. How it is growing, how it's reached long ago, actually, the peak highest levels that it has ever been, just as your human population has reached the highest levels that it has ever been. That fear vibration is at an all-time high, and it continues to go higher and higher and higher. And yes, you must make choices and do things to fulfill your destiny and to serve and be the guardians that you are and the protectors that you are, to be the co-creators that you are, but to do it in fear or because of fear, or to make those choices based in fear, only creates more of it. And you don't remove the fear by trying to not look at or listen to or ignore or deny the thing that you think is the source or the cause of it. Nothing else external outside of you is the cause of it. Nothing. I will repeat that because it's so important to realize, to know, and to realize. No one outside of you makes you feel fear. Nothing in the unknown and uncertainty of life makes you feel fear. No one creates fear in you or for you. It is your energetic reaction. It's your energetic reaction to what you see or what you hear. It's your energetic reaction to the unknown and the uncertainty. It's your energetic reaction. You create it within you through your response to the energies that you feel around you. But it doesn't just stay inside of you. Like the emotion of love flows out from you, like the emotion of compassion flows out from you, like the emotion of joy and happiness flows out from you. Like the emotion of hope flows out from you. All of your emotions flow out from you. All of them. Your energy field is not disconnected from everyone else's energy field. Just because you feel fear causing you to contract, because that emotional response that generates inside yourself does cause a contraction, and you do feel your energy contract, it still doesn't mean that it's not flowing out from you. You are contracting when you feel it, but the energy still flows out into the collective energy fields. No right from wrong, no light from shadow. Know the virtues and what they are and what they stand for and how you can bring them in you and live from them, speak from them. Use them to change and transform your emotions, literally transforming them and acting upon them. So you can stand strong and in your power as the co-creators that you are in the presence of anything, and be the guardians that you are in the presence of anything without fear causing you to recoil, even though the energy still flows outward. The contraction that you feel, the recoiling that it makes you feel, is an inward process of it, impact and effect of it. But the energy still flows out. Now more than ever, do not recoil in fear. Do not contract or withdraw because of fear. Feel it. Feel it. Don't suppress it. Those who refuse to feel it, not only can it make you numb, will it diminish your awareness of who you are and create many, many layers of shadowing. But so many layers of shadowing, it can even create ruthlessness. Feel it. Feel the fear and transform it, or transmute it, or transcend it. And transcending does not mean spiritually bypassing over it or turning a blind eye to it or looking away the other direction. It's important to feel it. It's a part of the human emotions that you've all come here to experience all of them. You've came here to experience the wholeness of the human experience, and that includes fear. But it was not created to be used the way that you all use it. I've said before and I will say again, it was created to make you question. Question what you're doing, why you're doing it, what someone's doing, why they're doing it. Is it helpful? Is it harmful? It was created to make you question and to create more discernment. And this is why you have to feel it, but not be consumed by it, not recoil to it or run or hide from it, or try to push it away or cover it over, all of the myriad of ways in which you'll do anything to try to avoid feeling it. And the other emotion and feeling that goes along with that goes in hand sometimes, is what you feel as pain. And in the way that you fear pain, the way that you experience pain and fear in simultaneous ways. All of it. Feel it. And know that it is energy. Energy that you then can use and move in totally different ways. And you must, for your own health and well-being, and for the health and well-being of everyone that you care about, because of the collective ripple effect into the energy fields. And the ones that are most impacted in your energy fields are the ones that you share your energy fields most directly with. Those are you're closest to. But it doesn't just stop there. Do it for the health of the whole as well, for the health and the well-being of everything and everyone. This cannot be a selfish time. And the selfishness that you see in the world and the lack of empathy that you see in the world, and even those who fear so much that they fear empathy itself, they judge empathy itself. Cannot recoil to it, or let the fear control you. You can use the virtues: peace, hope, strength, faith, and so many others to transform the energy of that fear. Resolve, another virtue. To transform the energy of that fear. Trust, but not trust in whatever it is that is triggering the fear. Yes, triggers. Yes, the external things and people externally serve as triggers, but they are not the source of the fear. They do not create it. They can trigger triggers within you, yes. And they can trigger. So not trust in what is triggering the fear, but trust in the higher power. And trust in your ability to use that higher power to do what is right, to be a source for the good. to help, to serve. Service is a wonderful thing to transform that energy, to take the energy of that emotion, energy in motion, the emotion of fear, and transform it through service. Service that is to the energy that you want. Service that is putting the energy into co-creating what you want, speaking or creating or manifesting or doing or acting in some service to what you want and to what you do hold dear and to what is sacred. Transform the energy with any of the virtues. Fill yourself with them. Release any way in which you are holding on to that energy. And yes, there are times in which it is easier to do so, and times in which it is harder. But full moons, the energy of the full moon and its ability to amplify, especially amplify on the emotional level, but it amplifies all energy. Full moons are a wonderful time to release, surrender, surrender, not giving up, giving it over, not giving up on anything or anyone ever, but giving over the fear or the pain or the sorrow or the grief or whatever the emotion is that's being amplified. Working with the emotions is a very powerful thing at any time, but especially so at the time of the full moon. Your emotions will be amplified whether you acknowledge it or not. Your emotions will be amplified whether you do anything about it or not. Whether you're aware of it or not, they are amplified, conscious or unconscious. But if you consciously choose to use the energy of the full moon to amplify the healing process of your emotions, the transmutational, transformational, transcendent process of what you can do with your emotions, then you have that energy helping you to do it. It's like planting something at the opportune time or right place, right time to do the right type of thing. And that is why I have asked to deliver these transmissions to be invoked in this way at the time of the full moon, because you need all of the help that you can get, and you will be receiving it, and it will help in ways beyond what you can realize and that you're even conscious of or will be able to be conscious of. And it's time for me to deliver a series of teachings on the emotions themselves and the ways that the virtues can transmute them, transform them, transcend them, and even transfigure them. And to help you all in co-creating your destinies. I do not see any emotion as bad. That is not the way we understand them in the angelic realm. There are no bad emotions. There are no wrong emotions. They're just energies that you agreed coming into this lifetime to have the human experience and experience them all, because it's a special, sacred thing about the human experience. It's not the only thing that's unique about the human experience, but it is one of the things. The breadth and the depth and the scale and the scope of the emotional experience on the human level. It is something to feel awe of, actually. And there is an emotion that I want you to all feel. No matter what. No matter what is happening in the collective energy fields around you. There's always something to be in awe of, and there's always something to be grateful of and grateful for. Amplify also on the times of the full moons the emotions that you want. But not just in selfish ways for yourself, but in sending them out to everyone. That energy flows and it flows out. Your energy flows and it flows out. Your emotional energy flows and it flows out. Feel the emotion, the energy that's in motion, and move it. Only move it consciously into service, into resolve, and the commitment that is connected to it. Move it into love and loving action. And then respond. And then respond. Once you've transmuted it or transformed it, once you've transcended it in some way, shape, or form, then you can respond in a whole other way, a more effective way. Because your choices should never be made based on your fears. Basing it on your intuition, your intuitive knowing, basing it on facts, that which is objective, basing your choices and your decisions on those things. But most importantly, not basing any of your choices or decisions based on your fear. You have to be aware. Be very, very aware of all that is happening right now. Externally, yes. And internally. Your intuition will guide you. Your soul will guide you. You are that soul. That is who you are. Ignore everything else? No. Deny everything else? No. The intuition and the intellect and knowledge and wisdom are all meant to work together. Science and spirituality, they are all part of a whole. But you will co-create in a different vibration. And you'll be able to thrive in uncertainty. But not just individually. Eventually, all of that ripples out. All of it is energy that flows. But thriving in uncertainty doesn't mean that there cannot be some certainties and that there won't be certainties. For there will. There always has been, and there always will be. And that's why I speak of the universal laws too. Because the universal laws are certainties you can always count on and you can always rely on. And I also choose to speak of that more and to be asked more about the universal laws. So that you can remember. I will end this message. Again, there's so much more to say. By coming full circle to how I began it. By saying that it doesn't all get said in this way. I will be communicating more and more with all of you. Not only those receiving this message. That doesn't limit it. And I look forward to serving, loving in whole new ways with expanded capacities that are being given to you and to us. In extraordinary times where it feels that everything is contracting. The divine will responds by giving expanded capacities. And that is a benediction that is coming. and I would play whatever role that I can to serve in that expansion. That's the end of the message. Let's just take a moment to say a silent prayer of thankfulness and appreciation for the message. And then I'm going to just finish with the Adonai Elohim only, so bringing it back full circle to praise again to complete the circle of the process. So I'll just do Adonai Elohim, and please join me in doing so silently or out loud. Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim. Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim. And as I'm coming up out of the meditation, I'll share a few things. One at the very end there, when he was talking about us being given, that there's been some kind of divine benediction also for us to be given expanded capacity. It's like whatever limitations we feel or emotions maybe are making us feel about, this is the capacity that I have. It's like that's being expanded. And then also doing this emotional work, I was feeling like as we clear these emotions, transform these emotions, transcend these emotions, as we do the emotional work that I think he's going to be guiding us in, is what I'm kind of getting the impression is he's going to give some teachings about the emotions. And like today he talked about fear, but I think he's going to go on to other emotions and ways to kind of like work with those energies. Then that also will free up our energetic capacity, right? Like this energetic capacity that we have that maybe right now we feel like is like, you know, fear or worry, and because there's all kinds of like worry and anxiety, or like kind of they're different forms of fear. They're fear based, right? They're fear based emotions, so they're causing like a contraction, and it's like this feeling like there's an expansion that's coming also. So it's both ways. Like there's some kind of new way that we're beginning kind of some blessing of expansion, and then there's also like so much of our energy that's going to be free up by just learning how to use our emotions differently and use them as the forces for change, the energies for creation and co-creation that we want to use them for what we want to create, right? For what, yeah, yeah, that was a real, like almost like a physical thing that I was experiencing there, especially there at the end. There was like a physicality to it, like feeling the contraction and then like an opening and expansion that was taking place. So, and then um, when he was talking, when he said something like feel the fear, like it was like just boom, like it was like all this energy, like this solid column of light was just like, right here, just be present to it. Don't respond to it, don't react to it, don't, run from it, all these things that we do in response to it. Just boom, be present to it, and then take it and do something with it, right? Use it. And like I loved when he brought in service. It was like I feel like that's the thing that I've been doing, and it was so helpful to hear that, and it was just so like clearing, even just to kind of hear what it was that describing. And then when he was describing the unconscious part, there was so much to this message. There's so many parts to it, and so many experiences that I was having on the inner level. When he's talking about the unconscious versus the conscious amount, like so, there's the conscious amount that we have, and then there's the unconscious amount. It was like I saw like a room with the conscious amount, and then I saw like, oh, and then here's the whole rest of the giant building. It was some like other giant space or something that was there that the unconscious fills up, right? So the unconscious, the unknown. There's several. I'm trying to think right now before I even open my eyes because sometimes I'll forget. But there's several other messages that I feel like he's referring people to that are in the podcast. Actually, he refers to several of them, but he talks about the virtues and a lot of the, I'd say, definitely the last like 30 messages or something that's in there. So if you just look through the titles and the descriptions, you'll see like which virtues are being talked about. But when he used the word crisis convergence and used it again and again, I could actually see that one message that was, I titled the whole thing, that message, actually, I think I titled it Crisis Convergence. So that's one message that's in the podcast that is there already, that even if you've heard it before, it might be good to kind of go back to review it. It was from many months ago. It wasn't any time recently. So there's that one, and then some of the things that he teaches about that, and the things that we need to, do in response to, to that. And I'm not even sure. I myself have to go back and I think listen to that one. Um, and then let's see, there was another one that I felt specifically he was referencing, and now it's starting to fade pretty quickly. Um, yeah, there's just several things that he mentions, speaking of before, and of course, this most recent one from the spring equinox, he definitely references some things in there. So, like I said, I'm going to post these to the podcast at the same time the spring equinox message and this message will get uploaded to the podcast here soon. So, interesting. And some of the things that he's talking about regarding the transmuting, the transforming, the transcending. There's some messages, although I feel like he's going deeper here than even what's in the book. In my book, that is channeled from Archangel Michael, is a series of 9 messages that I channel on the subject of keeping our hearts open at all times and always and under all circumstances. Which again, when we're feeling so much that we're feeling, and when especially empaths, we can be so overwhelmed by the emotions of it all. That that's not easy to do, right? Like so there's some things that he's saying, although this message I think even expands upon it, especially in regards to the fear itself. All right, I'm sure I'll think of more that I could have said, but it was a long message, so I'm going to just wrap it up now by giving all of you the opportunity to, say hi, say goodbyes, write comments, questions, anything that you'd like to say, and go ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll look at also what's been put in there since. So, um, so Sarah said hello, and Darius said, what was the message of Michael? I think you might have been asking that in the intro that I was doing. So it was a bunch of series of messages that I've been getting. So I'm not sure which one you're asking about, but maybe the spring equinox one. And like I said, I'm going to be putting the recording of that up on the podcast here shortly. I'll put it up with this recording. And he says, thank you. Amy says, thank you. As a sensitive empath, this has been very, yes, for empaths, this is a very, very, the stress, everybody is feeling stress in our global situation right now, but for empaths, it's like amplified, like full moon level every day. Evelyn says, I've been going through a lot of purging over the past few weeks. It's been very hard to witness the wicked behavior in the United States and the world. It's just so much shadow stuff that's been coming up. Yes, it's hard. And then Rose says, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Rose. We appreciate that. Irene says, thank you, dear Anna. Thank you. Appreciate that, Irene. And I'm trying to get it to scroll down. Okay, why isn't it scrolling? Let's see, slide. There we go, sliding a little bit. Okay. Thank you, dear Archangel Michael, for your message today. Thank you, Anna, for serving as the conduit. Wow, his discussion on fear spoke to me since I've been purging and transmuting so much fear these past few weeks. It really resonated. Yeah, I did too. In fact, I just woke up one night and I feel like I was just uh, transmuting, transforming, moving the energy, so much of the collective vibration of fear on the planet, and then also some of my own that I literally just had to go into affirmations, right? Like, but not just like saying them kind of with the mind, but really like on the decree level with my heart, and like getting to the point where I was just saying a lot of affirmations using the virtues, and that was helpful, like the hope, the peace, the surrender, those types of things. I am transmuting into peace. I am transmuting my fear into faith. I am transmuting my fear into trust, those things. But then I eventually got to the affirmation of I accept my power, I accept my authority. And it was instantly that the fear kind of went away for me. This is my personal experience, right? So that was an interesting experience. So thank you for sharing yours, Ellen. And then Ruth, ooh, I stayed awake this time, mostly. That's good. I know it can be hard sometimes, especially for those of you really far back east. So, hi, Anna. Hi, Pauline. So grateful for all the work you do. Yes, so good. So glad that you're on here. Thank you for saying hi. And then Jill, thank you all so much. This transmission was very, very powerful. It's a powerful message for sure. And to Ruth, thank you so much for this message. It's so intense. Yes, it is. I agree, but in a good way, the good kind of intense, right? There's good intense, and then there's like the difficult intense. Just thank you, Anna. It was most beautiful. Thank you, Archangel Michael. You're welcome, Katerina, Trina. Katrina, okay. And then Nalini, grateful for the messages, Anna. You serve as our North Star. Oh, that's very sweet. Appreciate that. And then this is there's a lot more messages here. So I'm going to stop the recording and respond to all of them. I don't want the recording to get too long for the sake of the podcast, and then I'll respond to